In this tutorial I'm going to show you a nice quick way to create logos using silhouettes. So for your project, obviously you are looking at an awareness campaign, so we're thinking a lot about conservation logos. And if you can see here by some of these examples, a lot of these conservation logos tend to obviously feature sea animals, and also you'll notice that most of them use quite a simple silhouette style logo. Okay, so quite simple colours, and it's usually just an outline of an animal or an object. Obviously a lot of blue in this, linking to the sea of course. So I'm just going to show you a quick and easy way of doing this, and of course you can also then add on text and use sort of text tools to adapt your text or change it in any certain way. So for this tutorial you will need an image of an animal or plastic bottle or anything that you can think of for your logo. When selecting your image, obviously try to think about the overall shape that you'll end up with. Okay, obviously if you get an image of an animal in a certain position and then turn it into a silhouette, you might not be able to recognise what that animal is. So usually trying to get one from the side or a full view will give you a better overall effect. Also, when selecting your image, something to think about to make it much easier for you to get the shape, try to pick an image that has a clear coloured background. So all white background, or like this one, it's all blue. It's going to make the selection process a lot easier. Okay, so it makes the selection a lot easier. So as you know, we've used the selection tools before quite a few times, so we know that we've got our selection tools up here. We can use the lasso, poly, magnetic. Okay, we can use the quick selection tool or the magic wand. Okay, so for this image what I want to do is obviously have the turtle selected. So a couple of ways of doing that. I could use the magic wand tool, select all the blue, okay, and then obviously inverse it. So it selects the turtle. I've got this text here selected, so if I move on to quick selection tool and my minus, I can just get rid of all of that, and obviously I've got my turtle really nice and clearly selected. So if I have my turtle selected, like so here, I can press the Q tool, I can press the letter Q and it will quickly show me a quick mask mode here. So obviously here I can really clearly see that I've got the turtle selected really well. Okay, obviously if I just press deselect here, other ways you could obviously do it is just using the quick selection tool, the plus, and I can very quickly, in fact I probably should have used a smaller brush, makes it much easier. And I can obviously just run the tool over, okay, but it might not pick up areas as well. Remember, it needs a really nice clear defined edge if you're using the quick selection tool, and some of the bluey green parts of my turtle here merge in a little bit. So if I was doing it quite quickly like this, again I could use that Q, and as you can see here I've got quite a few bits of the turtle missing and bits where I've gone over. So again, I could go in and tidy up those areas, add into it. I'll just come out that, so press Q again. But obviously it's easier for me to use the magic wand tool and inverse it. Okay, and again, I'm just going to get rid of that Fine Art America bit. There we go, so I've got my turtle there. So now what I might want to do is duplicate just that turtle. So I can press Command C, Command V, and I've duplicated my turtle layer, okay? And I'm just going to undo that, turn off that one in the background because I don't need to see it now. So I've got my shape of my turtle here. So really easily, all I need to do is select a brush tool, okay, a nice big brush, the hardness on max, okay, and have my colour selected. So I'm just going to select black for now, and actually just turning on my lock button here. So if you see on your layer palette, okay, you've got lock and you've got this sort of tiled lock here. And if I turn that on, it should now just paint the turtle. Obviously, as you saw a second ago, I didn't have my lock button turned on, and it painted the whole layer. So if I do that, there we go, I've now painted the entire turtle. So there I've ended up with a silhouette. Okay, and obviously you can have your silhouettes in a range of different colours. So I'm just going to move this onto an A4 document that I've got over here. There we go. I'm just going to transform him, so remember Command T, and make him a little bit bigger. There we go, so we can see my turtle there. Okay, and on this document here, I've got a plastic bottle. So I'm just going to do the same again on this one. I'm going to use the magic wand tool to select all the white. I'm going to inverse it. Okay. And I'm going to copy. And on this layer, turn on my lock. Get my brush tool and I'm going to fill this in. In fact, this one, I've just coloured it in black, but I'm actually going to colour it in white. Actually a slightly grey off-white colour. So if I come back to my layers, turn that background off, there we go. I'm just going to colour it in that colour, okay? And again, I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to move it onto this document here. There we go. So I could place my bottle sort of over my turtle to create an interesting effect. And again, just Command T in that to transform it. Think about how I might position it. Actually, I'll just apply it there. Actually, I think it might look better white. So I'm just gonna, this time I can actually just fill it with white. So if I just go to my paint bucket tool, come back to the white there. I think it's got more of a contrast between the two. And I could actually fill my turtle. I'll leave my turtle for now. So now I've got a basic kind of silhouette or logo design. What I could do is obviously use my text. So I'm just going to type in here, change the colour because otherwise we won't see it. Ocean, clean ocean club, sorry, let's change that. Clean ocean club. There we go. Okay, so remember you can download fonts off dafont.com, but thinking about those conservation posters that we had on here, a lot of them actually have quite simple plain fonts, and that's obviously because they want to get their point across. You know, they don't want to take away from maybe their message or the campaign. It's not necessarily about design. It's about recognising who they are as a company. Okay, so I'm going to just stick with this font for now. Okay, but remember that we can obviously change the colours of our font. So I'm going to go with this darker blue, and let's also maybe stretch it out so that it's one sentence, one line. Okay, and we can position it obviously in a number of different ways. So with our font, we can come back to edit, and obviously we can transform the text in a certain way. But remember, to be able to transform our text, we've got scale, rotate, skew, warp. So whilst it's still a text layer, if we're going to use our warp, we can use these preset warps. So we've got a lower arc, so that might be quite effective under it. And obviously we can slide it about and position it sort of how we want. What else have we got? A shell and upper, so that might work above it. Some different, obviously if I press enter, you can see how it might fit in here. I'm just going to undo that quickly, because remember, if we rasterize our layer, so rasterize the type, we then can freehand warp. So this time if we have warp, it will put the box on, and we can decide how we warp our text. Like so. Okay, so obviously you can decide on the warp yourself a little bit more. Another option that you have is to type on a path or a line. Okay, so you can use the pen tool. So if I use the pen tool here, I'm just going to change that shape to path. It might already come up with path, and I'm just going to create a bit of a random line here just so you can see for purpose. Okay, and then if I use my text tool, you'll notice that when I move down to the path I've just created, the type will, the icon will slightly change. Okay, so if I can click on that, and then you can see how it would type on a path. Okay, so you could create a path to type round your logo. Okay, you can use the shapes as well, so I could use the circular shape if I wanted to, and I could put my circle here, and again I can either type in the circle or on it. I could put clean ocean Club. I think it needs an extra space along there. That's a little bit messy, so I'm just gonna get rid of that layer there. Okay, and I can sort of move it round, rotate it. There we go, so it's rotating on that circle. Obviously I can bring it down. Help if I could spell clean. It's a bit better. There we go. So I can turn that ellipse off now. And there you go, you're left with the text on that path. Okay, so essentially that's how you can create a logo. So what I would like you guys to have a go at is obviously coming up with your own logos. I think it'd be good to come up with a range of different logos so you can copy and paste your logo and maybe have it a couple of different ways. So this might be one design. I then could copy it again maybe. I could do a different version down here. I'm just going to make it smaller. It might be that I position it differently. I might have it in a different colour. Let's go. Maybe not that much. I've just stretched it. There we go. There's another one there that I'm going to do. If I take, oh, there we go. So I want you to come up with 5 variations of a logo that you could use for your campaign using this silhouette technique. Of course, you could also do a vector. So we've obviously learned how to do vector art before. using the pen tool and obviously shape. Obviously that's a bit more time consuming though, so using this version is a little bit quicker. As you can see there, the edges of the turtle are a little bit fuzzy, so what you could do is obviously use the eraser tool and just go round tidying it up. And there we go, you've got your logos. Okay.